Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Standing still or casino, anyone you want to call me. I know it's been long I posted a video mostly about FIFA mode, but now I'm here with something new, something different. Dolphin emulator. They have a lot of emulator for phone, but Dolphin is the best emulator so far. The rest are still in process. So guys, this is the Dolphin emulator for Android device. Now I have to quickly run through the recommendeds and requirements, the minimum and maximum for it to work on your phone. First of all, you need the Android version 11. Secondly, you need a free RAM of 1 point lowest gig, 1 point lowest gig. They need a processor speed of at least 1.50. You can see mine is 1.60 and 1.80. That is 6 at 1.60, 2 at 1.80. But my primary is 1.82. So here we go, guys. Now, first of all, we're starting with Call of Duty. Okay, and for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, you need at least 1.5 gig of RAM. When I say gig of RAM, I mean remaining RAM. You can have 4 gig of RAM, but your remaining RAM might be 900 MB. It won't work. You have to have enough RAM, that is enough free RAM of 1.5 gig. 1.5 gig of remaining RAM, that is free RAM. Then 7 gig of or 10 gig of space remaining. Then GPU speed of 1.6 GHz or above. You should probably work on 1.50 GHz, but not be playable. Your minimum FPS will be only about 10 to 15 FPS. That reminds me, the FPS I'm giving up for this game is FPS of 15 to 35 maximum FPS for the requirement I'm giving you here. So if your phone matches the requirement, you're only going to get from 10 to 35 FPS highest. It will not be more than 35 FPS. That is for the games I'm giving you. Except you want to run like lower games like Super Mario and the rest, then you should get probably about 50 to 60. And the highest FPS you can get is 60 FPS. And if you don't know what FPS means, FPS is the smoothness or speed which the game is running on, and is mainly depend on your device. If the FPS is lower than 25, the game will be lagging. If it's in 20, the game will be lagging. If it's in 15, the game will be lagging. If it's in 10, the game will be unplayable. Then, but from 25 above, it will be playing smoothly, and 60 is the highest FPS. So the second one, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 Reflex Edition. This one you need about 1 gig of remaining RAM, that is free RAM, then 7 gig of space, then 1.55 GHz to run the game at a FPS of 15 to 35 FPS. And over here we have a Black Ops. Now this Black Ops is the biggest Call of Duty for Dolphin emulator, and this you need 2.3 gig of remaining RAM, that is free RAM to run it, then 11 gig of free space, and at least 1.80 GHz. Even with the 1.80 GHz, you only get from 15 to 20 FPS highest. It even lags on my phone, which is about 1.80 GHz also. Now moving on, we have the Call of Duty 2, the big red one. For this one, it's not actually a big game, so you just need at least 800 MB of remaining RAM, 2.5 gig of space, and at least 1.50 GHz and above for GPU processor. Remember guys, I'll give you the recommenders for the game only. I'll not give you any video of the game, so you guys can search the game online. But I promise you guys I'll give you the recommenders and the requirement for your device. So next up, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 3. You need at least 1 gig of free RAM, 8 gig of space, and at least 1.60 GHz and above GPU processor. And next we're moving to the Amazing Spider-Man. For the Amazing Spider-Man, you need at least 1.5 gig of free RAM, or 7.5 gig of space, the GPU processor speed of 1.80. Now Spider-Man 3, now the minimum requirement to run Spider-Man 3 is 1.3 gig of free RAM, 11 gig of space, the GPU processor speed of 1.70 GHz. For you to run Spider-Man Shattered Dimension on your phone, you need at least 1.5 gig of free RAM, 13 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 2.0 GHz. Now guys, just a reminder again of what I mean by free RAM. You remember when I said your RAM doesn't count? Yeah, it still doesn't count, because some of them might be used up already. So it's your free RAM that counts. The one I take blue is your free RAM, and that's what we're gonna use to count, not your RAM, your free RAM. Now for Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Son, you need at least 1.2 gig of free RAM, 9 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 1.80 GHz. Now to run Dead Space Extraction, you need 1.2 gig of free RAM, 9 gig of space, GPU processor speed of 2.0 GHz or 1.80 GHz, but with only 13 to 20 FPS speed highest. But with 2.0 GHz, you can get up to 35 FPS. Now, the requirement I gave you guys for Resident Evil 4 was to run it at 15 FPS highest. To run it at normal FPS, that is 30 or 25 FPS, you need at least 2 gig of free RAM, 9 gig of space, and a processor speed of 1.80 GHz. But if you want to run it at a FPS of 15, then Bon Appetit. Then to run FIFA 15, you need at least 1 gig of RAM, of free RAM, 8 gig of space, and a processor speed of 1.60 GHz. Then to run 007 Golden Eye, you need 1 gig of free RAM, 8 gig of space, and a processor speed of 1.60 GHz. Yes, I don't know this game conduct, but I tried it on my phone, but it worked well on my phone, but it lagged a little, so I'm just going to use my phone requirement to put it. That's my, I had 1.3 gig of free RAM, 8 gig of space, and a processor speed of 1.80 GHz to run this game. Yeah, I also tried this 3 game, and yes, again, I don't know what the game is. Metroid Prime 1, 2, 3. You just need 1.5 gig of free RAM, 8 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 1.80 GHz. Then again, I just use my own available requirements. Finally, Tomb Raider. To run Tomb Raider on your device, and device on dolphin emulator Wii, you need at least 1.5 gig of free RAM, 8 gig of space, GPU processor speed of 1.60 GHz. Batman Begins. I think they have many Batman games like Batman Vengeance, but I think this Batman Begins is the best. And to run this Batman Begins, you need at least 1.5 gig of free RAM, 11 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 1.80 GHz minimum. This is the only good Batman game for Dolphin Emulator, and to run it, you need 900 MB of free RAM, 7 gig of space, and 1.60 GHz processor speed. Now, King of the Rings, you need 1 gig of RAM, free RAM, 7 gig of space, GPU processor speed of 1.80 GHz. Now, this is a car race game, and to run NASCAR the inside line, you need at least 1 gig of free RAM, 7 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 1.60 GHz. And this is another race car game. For the run Formula 1, you need 1.4 gig of free RAM, 7 gig of space, and processor speed of 1.60 GHz. Now, NASCAR Unleashed is another NASCAR game, but it's the higher one, and you need 1.5 gig of free RAM to run it, 11 gig of hard disk space or internal storage, and orbital processor speed of 1.80 GHz. To run Need for Speed Nitro, you need 1.5 gig of free RAM, 9 gig of space, and computer processor speed of 1.80 GHz. This is another Need for Speed game that is a little bit higher than Need for Speed Nitro. Much actually, it's a lot higher than Need for Speed Nitro. And to run this game, you need 1.6 gig of free RAM, 9 gig of space, and processor speed of 1.80 GHz. To run Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles, you need 2.5 gig of free RAM, 15 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 2.20 GHz. To run WWE 2013, you need 1.8 gig of free RAM, 8 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 2.0 GHz. To run WWE 2011, you need 1.3 gig of free RAM, 9 gig of space, and GPU processor speed of 1.60 GHz. Thank you guys. Thank you guys, that'll be all for now. And any game I don't add on this list, you can simply shout me up and I'll give you the recommended requirements to run it on your device. And for the emulator, you can get the emulator on Play Store, Opera Mini, Chrome, Google, anywhere actually. But I'll recommend getting it from Play Store. Thank you guys, that'll be all for today. Remember, if you have games on your mind that you want to test out, but you don't know the recommended requirements, you can easily shout me up or comment, then I'll reply you. Remember guys, to leave a like and subscribe to my channel because I'll continue posting videos about more emulator and more games to come. Bye.